Hey, what's going on, guys? EpicFilmCritics here, and welcome to a beginning series which we were going to be basically presenting unappreciated films which we think deserve a lot more attention and deserve the viewing of you guys. And these are literally films that we think are extremely unappreciated, and movies that would probably the majority of the audience would not have ever even heard of or would have ever heard of unless we made this video today. We are going today, our first episode of this series, we're going to be talking about a favorite, in our books, The Warriors. 1979, it is just a major classic. So basically what The Warriors goes around, it's about, one second here.
It's about a gang who go to the Bronx, right?
Yeah, they have a meeting in the Bronx. Basically, they meet up with every gang in New York, and that may sound like there's five gangs. There's hundreds and hundreds of gangs, at that meeting.
And there's still more.
Yeah, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of gang members, but there's hundreds and hundreds of gangs. But basically, what they're doing is they're going to the meeting to meet up with Cyrus, who is this gang leader, and he's
the biggest gang and powerful.
Probably the most powerful gang in New York, called the Riffs, and he basically called all of the gangs together to this one meeting to basically I want to say
join up, not join up, but be allies.
But yeah, basically to join all the gangs together as one massive gang to basically take over New York, because as he explains at the beginning of the film, because he has a monologue, a massive monologue where he just talks about everything. He goes on about stuff, and he says that they triple the amount of police in
New York.
Yeah, in New York, so they could just destroy everything, and they would tax the police. They would just be the most powerful people in New York, and they would eventually try to expand, as they probably do after that movie, but they don't show any of that. So basically, the movie itself follows around a gang called the Warriors, hence the film, which basically gathers around. So each gang has to have 9 gang members go to this meeting. So 9 of their strongest, no weapons. They basically just go to this meeting for the meeting, and so it's just 9 of the strongest members of the Warriors followed around. So it is Swan, who is second in command. It's Cleon, who is the main main leader. There's Ajax, Snow,
Cowboy,
Rembrandt, who's only there because he's their tagger, so they need him to tag places. There is Cowboy and what's his name? Vermin.
Yeah, Vermin.
And Vermin, who is pretty cool. Oh, and Cochise.
Yeah,
and that's their 9 guys, who end up going to the meeting. So basically, what happens? They go to this meeting. Basically, no one really knows anything about the Riffs. Well, everybody knows the Riffs, but
they don't know much about them.
They bring all the gangs in from all of the different boroughs of New York. So a lot of these gangs don't really know anything about the Riffs. So basically they go, and he basically gets everybody to fall in love with his idea, and they're all basically supporting his idea. And the Rogues, a gang who is stupid.
Yeah. It's
a stupid, crazy gang. Who shouldn't even be there, really. Because they're just a bunch of stupid punks, really. And he shoots Cyrus, who everybody is now supporting to the top and would follow him forever. They shoot him. Well, the Rogues shoot him. It's specifically this one guy who's just Luther. That's his name, Luther,
yeah.
Who is the leader of this gang called the Rogues, who shoots him. And he's I wouldn't say he's a sociopath. He's he's crazy. He's crazy, and pretty much the entire gang follows him and kind of scared of him. So he shoots Cyrus, and the cops show up, and pretty much everything just wreaks havoc. And this is that's pretty much where the whole story begins. Cleon, who is the leader of the Warriors, the Warriors get blamed for the death of Cyrus because no one actually saw Luther shoot Cyrus, so they basically get blamed for the entire thing. And Cleon, who is in a pretty bad spot by himself, gets killed by. Well, you don't really know killed. I mean, he just gets like beat. Like just beat up.
It's implied that he's killed just because he gets beat by
implied
12 guys.
Yeah, he gets
just stomping on him.
Yeah, stomping on him, just beating the crap out of him. So yeah, you imply that he's either dead or arrested because like a bunch of cops show up too. So he's either arrested or dead, or it's really really badly hurt because he gets he just gets the beat up so bad.
Like crippled for life for.
Yeah, like literally. I remember when the movie, they was coming up and they're just like kneeing him, like all of the gang members just circle around him. They're all just kneeing, just elbowing him and kneeing him and punching him and everything. So basically, Cleon's gone, but all of the other gang members escape, thankfully. So there's only 8 guys left at this point. So basically, what happens after this? There's this really annoying radio announcer, and she announces to all of the gangs that the Warriors are the blame. And all of the gangs in New York are going after the Warriors. So basically, the whole movie itself follows around the Warriors trying to get back to Coney Island, which is where they're originally stationed.
Like their chapters there.
Yeah, that's where they live. So basically, they go from train station to train station throughout the entire movie. It sounds pretty boring that way, but I mean, they
have to fight their way back.
They fight their way back. They fight various gangs. They fight the punks, the baseball furies, and these. I mean, I think that's really the unique thing about the movie, opposed from other gang movies or just gangs in general. I mean,
there's no guns or nothing. There's one gun,
which shoots Cyrus. I mean, so that doesn't even count really. For the actual fighting aspect, I mean, the fighting scenes are actually really
they're really good fighting.
Good fighting, good suspense, and all that kind of thing. But the really really unique thing I find about probably one of the favorite things about this and the game. By the way, the game is probably one of my favorite games of all time. PS2 original Xbox, incredible. Check that out if you're a gamer. The gangs. I mean, because you don't see all of the gangs except for the very very beginning of the scene. I mean, the very very opening scene of the movie when they're at the meeting and all the gangs are there. They show the gangs, they kind of camera just goes around all the gangs and all that type thing, and just the gangs that are there, you see all the gangs even in the opening sequence, and they're really I don't know how to say it, creative.
Yeah. They're not your average.
They're not your average.
Crips and Bloods.
They're not your average. Crips and Bloods and badass Mexican gangs going around with Glocks like that and shit. They're dressed up example, baseball furies, as I was saying before. These are guys in baseball uniforms with baseball bats with makeup on, and there's another gang, the Hi Hats, who also have makeup on, but they're dressed up as
mimes.
Yeah, mimes. With top hats, there's just they're not your average gangs. They're very artistic. I mean, that's a great way to say it. I think the Warriors are really the only somewhat normal looking gang in the whole movie, really.
Yeah, Warriors and the Rogues, I'd say.
There's only a really small amount of gangs that are normal looking. Throughout the movie though, they meet pretty early in the movie they come up upon the Orphans, which are a really small time gang, and they weren't even at the meeting, so they're that small time, and they meet what's her name? Let's scroll. Mercy, yeah, and she's the town whore pretty well. She was, I wouldn't say part of the Orphans, but she was the gang whore pretty well.
Yeah,
and she liked the Warriors, and she liked Swan specifically, who was he became the
leader after Cleon died.
Yeah, the leader after Cleon, and she, I mean, they kind of they fell in love or whatever. Yeah. So she basically went along with them and became their gang whore. It sounds messed up to say, but it's true.
Yeah.
How does so basically like all these gangs are literally out like looking for them. They first meet up with the Turnbull ACs, well after the Orphans, but Orphans is after the Turnbull ACs, right?
The Orphans. I thought the Orphans were the first. No,
because once they leave the meeting, the
Turnbull
Turnbull ACs,
after them, and then they get on the train.
the Turnbull ACs are a giant like skinhead type gang who are in a giant bus, just like literally roaming the streets like everywhere, just like looking for them. They see the Warriors, and the Warriors run. They get on the train station, and they go to a different borough in New York, and that's where they meet the Orphans and Mercy and all that type of thing. And she goes along with them. They go on from there, and they get split up, which is a big aspect of the movie. Once they split up, and that's when we forgot to mention. Oh shit! What is his name? Fox. That's what we forgot to mention.
Oh,
Fox,
yeah.
who is? I mean, he's not. I mean, at the very beginning, he's kind of a big part of the movie because he's Swan's like advisor, kind of. But then he dies very fast. He dies on the train.
The train tracks. He gets thrown on or something like that.
Well, this is why they get split up. There's a few cops that like find them and basically just
make them split up. And
they start chasing after them and they split up when they're running. So it's I know Vermin, Cochise, and Rembrandt.
And they stick together.
Then
there's
Snow.
Ajax.
There's Ajax, Snow, and Swan. Oh, Swan and Cowboy. That's why I said
Cochise isn't. Oh,
no, Cochise was with Vermin and Rembrandt.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's Swan, Snow, Ajax, and Cowboy. Reason we forget Cowboy is he's like a wimp. Really, I mean, he's. So when they split up, they all meet up with like different gangs pretty well, which is really, I mean, the cool aspect is because like the different gangs that they like meet up with have different lures, kind of. I mean, like Cochise and his group meet up with this like girl gang called the Lizzies, and they basically like bring them into their like house and they have a big like party, and they're all like lesbians.
Yeah.
Like they're all like lesbians, and they're like take your pick, so they're all like making out on the couches and all that. And it turns out that they knew about Cyrus and all that, so they try to kill the Warriors, which they completely fail. I remember actually the funniest part of that scene was when that one chick was like going after Vermin, and he just picked up a chair and just smacked it over her face, and the chair like broke. I mean, like that's probably the only time in a movie that you will like ever see a violent fight between like a male and female. Yeah. Like they literally just beat the crap out of them. Like it's true, really. I mean, and probably my favorite like scene in the movie is when Swan's group meets up with the Baseball Furies. Yeah. They have like a really cool sequence where the Baseball Furies are like running after them through. It's Central Park, isn't it? They're running through Central Park, playing like badass music. Like it's one of my favorite parts is like the music. Like the main theme of the movie is amazing. I'll actually put a link in the description to the song. It's amazing. It's just, I mean, probably the best like movie theme that there is, like by far. So yeah, they're running through Central Park, and it looks funny. I mean, like from the distance, like it looks funny because the Baseball Furies are so like artistic. Like they got the makeup and the like baseball uniforms on, but at the same time, like they make like all of that look so badass. Like the Baseball Furies still look badass even though they're so creative, and even I mean I think the only gang that doesn't look badass is like the Hi-Hats.
Yeah,
like
they just look like clowns.
They just look like idiots, really. I mean, but yeah, so they're running through Central Park, and they have a really really badass fight, which is awesome. Probably the best like part of the movie. Ajax is my favorite character.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, he's a really really like fascinating character. I mean, like he's kind of like the like tough guy of the thing, and he's also like the like cockiest like out of all of them. I mean, like he thinks he can take anybody, which he probably can. Yeah. I mean, like he's like literally like a tank. Like he can fight anybody. So Swan and Snow get split up like with Swan and Cowboy, and they run on their own, and Cowboy gets knocked out.
Yeah. By
a baseball bat. The guy smacks him with a baseball bat, and then I mean like Swan's not gone. They just like they're like behind kind of, and then they kind of like run towards them to like help them.
They go to like ambush them.
Yeah, and so like so Ajax basically fights like a couple of them by himself, and then Swan and Snow finally come and help. It's a pretty like awesome fight though. I mean, like it's like it's good to watch.
Yeah. Lasts a few minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely good. So after the fight, they all meet up at the train station, and the punks are following them, who is the last gang that they meet up with.
Yeah.
Besides for the rogues, but that doesn't count. I mean,
yeah, the
that's
rogues is kind of just like an ending scene.
Yeah, that's like the last gang that they like meet up with from like a fight gang standpoint, kind of.
Yeah.
And actually, I loved that fight scene. I mean,
It's
like
awesome.
it's
in a bathroom.
It's fantastic, like how they do it, like, and I like how it shows, like the way that the scene plays out. Swan's by himself, and he's like walking kind of down like an angled like walkway, and there's planks. Like, I mean, if you can like visualize this, there's planks kind of like every couple feet, and so the guy doesn't go very fast and make a lot of noise. And this is like the leader of the punks, who are on rollerblades, and like as like stupid and gay as that sounds, like they make it look badass, like somehow. Like I don't know how, but this guy is like serious face, and they're wearing like Bumblebee shirts. Yeah, like, I remember they're wearing like striped like yellow and black shirts, so it actually looks hilarious. Yeah, like overalls on, and like they're all on like rollerblades. Like it sounds retarded, but it looks so badass. I mean, like in like its own stupid way, like it looks so damn cool. So Swan thinks he's doomed pretty well. I mean, like, you can tell, and he's all worried about it, and so is Mercy, because she's like, that guy's following you over there. Oh my god! And then the rest of the gang meets up, and they go to Swan, and Swan's all happy. He's like, yeah, we're gonna kick their ass now. So they basically walk into the bathroom. And this, like, surprise attack is awesome. And I don't know how they weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so basically what happens, the punks go into the bathroom with their whole gang, and there's, like, a lot of them.
Yeah,
and
like, maybe, like,
and they got, like, switchblades and, like, baseball bats and everything, and, like, they go
chains.
In. Yeah. And, so basically all the warriors, in each stall, there's a warrior. And, it's, like, honestly the coolest, like, surprise attack you can ever see in your life. The one punk, I mean, like, the leader, suspenseful, like, very, very suspenseful. He opens the stall door. I remember, this is, like, the greatest attack ever.
Yeah.
Rembrandt sprays him in the face, who's, like, their tagger, if you don't remember, sprays him in the face with spray paint, kicks him on the floor, and then all of the other warriors, like, straight after, like jump out, like kick their like stall door down, and just like, and then the fight starts, and it is just so badass, like the way that whole scene plays out. It's so cool.
Yeah.
That's like one of the best like fight scenes like I've ever seen. Like it's just so cool, like the way that they do it. So yeah, they fight them, they win.
The train's there by the time they finish.
Yeah, it's funny how like right when they like leave the bathroom, the train is literally sitting like right there, and like, oh, let's go, and they get on and. Pretty much right there. So they go back, and they're home. Like after that, they're in Coney Island, but the rogues are there with them, and they basically surprise them by that. And that's like the final like part of the movie.
Oh yeah, and there's this hobo who saw the guy that actually killed Cyrus.
Yeah, well, we'll like get to that after.
Oh.
Because that's like, I mean, that's in the middle.
It wasn't that before.
They show it, but I mean, like that's. Like relevant to why the riffs went. So basically the rogues follow them, and now like the warriors are aware that they're being followed by the rogues, and they basically meet up at a beach, this giant beach, and the rogues are like we're gonna kill you. And it's funny because I mean, like, Swan asks him why he shot Cyrus, and he's just like, I feel like doing stuff like that. Let's just like, so you shot like an inspirational guy that like the entire city was like about to be following, and you just killed him for like no reason. It's just like, oh, okay. But like literally he had like no, he's like grinning, he's like hey, hey. And then it's funny too, is I think that part in the movie is the only time that Swan has like a smile on his face, because he's smiling with like sarcasm, but he has like just the most like grumpy face the entire movie. Well, I wouldn't call it grumpy, but it's like a stone cold face. Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's what.
He doesn't show emotion at all for it, like no happiness, nothing like that.
Yeah, so that's the only scene where you ever see his teeth, I think. Not like that matters, but.
Oh, it matters.
Oh, it really does. You don't know. You really don't. So basically, he pulls out a gun. Swan throws a switch. Actually, pretty badass. Like,
Yeah.
as he's pulling the trigger, he throws a switchblade. This gets him right in the hand, and he falls down basically. So it kind of symbolizes that they've lost.
Pulls the switchblade out.
Yeah, pulls the switchblade out and like wipes it on his hair, which is kind of cool to see. And it's a pretty. I mean, this is a pretty cool scene in the movie too. I mean, you see the Riffs, and they're like also the biggest gang. They have like hundreds and hundreds of guys that are on the beach. Basically, they go over, and okay, so this is where we'll get into this. Previously in the movie, there was a guy who basically went to the Riffs and said that he actually saw the real guy who shot Cyrus. So they go to this beach, and they know that the Warriors didn't do it, so they basically let them go, and that's where the movie ends.
Yeah.
Like they tell them that they respect them and that they'll like let them go. So basically the movie ends where they all walk down a line on the beach, and it shows the Riffs just circle like around the rogue. So you pretty much know that they're screwed because there's like hundreds and hundreds against like 5 guys or something. So like they're screwed.
Each one of them has a weapon.
Yeah, like the Riffs are just stacked with like baseball bats and everything. The ending music sequence is pretty cool. I mean, it shows them walking down the beach, and by the way, the song "In the City," Joe Walsh, is a really like good song. And if you guys don't know who Joe Walsh is, then you need to get some more musical taste. But he wrote the song like for the movie, and I'm pretty sure that he wrote it specifically for the movie, but then he like released it himself. It's a pretty like well known song actually, but that like ending scene is pretty cool. But what I don't understand, I mean, I know that they were like together and everything, but like, when they're all walking away, the entire gang is walking together except for Swan and what's her name, and then
they're just kind of in the front, like.
Yeah.
I think that they were like walking behind him because he's the leader.
Yeah.
Like,
no, like Swan was behind them.
Was he?
Like far behind them. Like I actually always got the impression that because when they got off the train, Mercy was saying that like she liked to travel, and then Swan said that they like to like go somewhere one day. I thought maybe that I always got the impression that they like left or whatever, like that he like left the Warriors or.
It might have.
I mean, that'd be an interesting twist. I mean, but I don't know. Like it was really like the ending of the movie anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys. I mean. It kind of spoilers a little bit, but I hope you guys actually go out and watch the movie. It is like, I mean, it's really. I mean, for how low profile it is, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's so cool, and I mean, like nowadays, it's definitely like a cult classic. I mean, you could call it that for sure. Excuse me. But it's definitely a movie I'd suggest you guys go check out. I give it like 5 stars. Like it's a classic.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. So I hope you guys enjoyed this unappreciated video, and it's been Epic Film Critics. See you guys later.
Good day. Stay classy.